real soon. We're gonna first match brought to you here on stream for the Raise Your Weapon Media stream is gonna be between Team ImBlackYall versus Team The Help. And now I don't know if any of you guys had an opportunity to watch the draft, but both in the first week's draft and this week, this is kind of like the notorious like instant rivalry. The Help already calling out ImBlackYall for not being black. You've got ImBlackYall ready to prove himself and his name and his worth. So we're finally in Champ Select. We're running about 15 minutes behind. All the other games are going to my knowledge or have started. So if you're, just coming back into this stream or you haven't had a chance, the GG Chronicle guys, Monte Cristo and KDH from Area Defect are casting another game right now. But if you're here and you're tuned in and you're listening to myself, Highwind, and my co-casting
Pato, we are both online here. And like Highwind was just explaining, this is the super grudge match. You have The Help, second place runner-up, first loser of Judgment 1, and he has a chip on his shoulder. He wants to go through and crush Evil Cookie. But before that, he had ImBlackYall, the whitest player in League of Legends with the most contradictory name.
Yes, he's absolutely got to be the whitest player. If you haven't seen him, go to check out his bio. It's RaiseYourWeapon.com/judgment. You can see all the captains' bios. We have actually handcrafted some of those bios and may have manipulated them. Some of them are just funny. Some of them actual true written by the captains. But definitely go check those out and check out how white this guy is. And honestly, I actually had a chance to practice with this team because a lot of the captains told us, after the first Judgment, they said, you know what? I think the winning strategy is draft a team that I know can practice for a couple times before the event. We got a couple days, so we get a chance to practice, and that's helped them immensely because they can kind of get a strategy. It's not going to be super refined, and that's the whole point. We don't want people showing up with a pre-made team. We want these captains to draft these players that they may have kind of heard of, and then there's maybe a few people that they haven't heard of because of the variety. And in this situation,
Varus pick right off the bat, so he exists, and apparently he's really good. So you guys should, if you guys haven't had a chance to play with Varus yet, every game that I've played with him on my team, we've rolled face pretty hard. So I'm interested to see how Dexter fares again. Dexter was the MVP of the first Judgment, carrying his team pretty hard with a lot of support from Sanctified. But like Highwind was saying, once you play the first Judgment or following Judgments, you start to learn the players. So players like Sanctified, who were picked at the end of the third round, were actually, he ended up being the 9th overall pick, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
as a support player.
That's basically first round. First pick, second round.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. So, I mean, the more these players get to learn about who's who and what people can play well, it really starts to change the dynamic of how teams are picked and how well these teams do. I'm really excited to actually see this game, and it looks like the Help came back with Nautilus and Rise, so a really strong CC lane. If you were in mid lane, I would be really, really terrified and planting tons of wards, looking in the bushes as much as possible to try to ward out the Nautilus ganks.
Yeah, and just, and we're probably going to commentate here a little bit about the picks here in a minute or two, but the players, just looking at the players in this game right now, for the blue team here on Team ImBlackYall, we've got Dexter Portal, who was his first pick. MVP from the first Judgment, was absolutely the man and came through for the winning team, Evil Cookie. We've got XTY, he was in the finals, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he was, XTY was actually the last pick of the first Judgment. He was actually on the Helps team.
Yeah, so he's got insider knowledge.
Yeah, so it's insider knowledge. He's played for that team before. He's going to go against his once master. Do a little counter action.
Yeah, and HOoZy is a support player. He plays for Perplexed Gaming. And Anttran is a friend from the TK Rain squad. If you've ever met TK Rain, he goes around all the Seattle events as part of Raise Your Weapon in a sense. He does some casting from time to time, but he's also a player in all of our events. He's got his kind of a crew, and we always refer to the Make It Rain crew or
Team Vietnam.
Team Vietnam. I mean, just a lot of great players, a lot of friendly guys, and Anttran is definitely one of them. And then the captain, ImBlackYall, as we know, is the whitest guy in League of Legends.
Yes, and he's last pick.
Now, jumping over to look at Dom the Helps team. So Dom, everybody who doesn't know Dom should try and learn more about him. He's part of Area Defect. great band that's recently gotten immensely popular by doing songs and parodies all about League of Legends. And they'll probably diversify and go into other games and whatnot. But if you have a chance, go check them out. Area Defect is amazing. But Dom is the funny, hilarious black dude.
He's the guy, and I quote, who they brought in to be the angry guy in Pug Life. If you've seen that, there was like, we need an angry guy, someone who could come in and rant and be funny. And so actually that's how Dom actually became a part of Area Defect. And he's a really great captain. If you check out any of the YouTube draft videos on our YouTube channel at RaiseYourWeaponMedia, you will get this taste of his personality, and he is absolutely hilarious. And you can check out the Area Defect music at youtube.com/Area of Defect Music if you want to hear some cool tunes. And actually, really important here is I like Tricycles. Now, he is actually friends with Marnold, I believe, and Marnold told the help that pick was going to seal this game for him, that I Like Tricycles was a scrub, and they were going to dominate him. And what's pretty funny, too, is, I mean, they already picked Ryze, so they probably weren't going to pick Morgana, but I Like Tricycles lives off Morgana.
Yeah.
And if they were able to get that, he would have lost his mind, but they picked him right in front of him.
So, yeah, I Like Tricycles is a real-life friend of the enemy captain, ImBlackYall. I Like Tricycles is a one-trick pony, from my knowledge, is that he only plays Morgana. So he might be a little screwed here, but he may be in a different role, so we'll find out. And that's the best part about Judgment, because the captains all have different roles and different backgrounds. You may have, for example, Dark Terror, who's a ranged AD, who's a captain, and might not need to pick a ranged AD because he's going to fill that role. Or he may be a good enough player that he can pick an AD and then fill in another gap. So captains are definitely, there's some strategy to how, A, when you pick your team, and B, what you do with your team once you've drafted it. And so, a little bit more about, just understanding your team and what they can do that's kind of what I really like about Judgment. I'm a captain. I've captained most of my teams. I consider myself a game caller and a decision maker. And let me tell you, I've made a fair share of bad decisions. But to me, there's that additional strategy that I really like about Judgment, and that's why we love this format, because it's really hard to go out and find a 5-man team and say, I'm going to go compete in this tournament this Saturday, blah, 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 this online event, and play as a team of 5, because you don't have all 5 people online. It's super difficult to get everybody down there. Not everybody has a car. Somebody's computer's jank. So in this situation, you can play from home. You don't need a full team. You're going to get drafted. You signed up, and it's a very schoolyard mentality. You have some info to you available to you as a captain, whether you've played in previous events, or you can take that. You can do like the Hall of Famer, the first Judgment winner, Matt Cookie, and you can create your own spreadsheet. You can go and look at their match histories. You can jump in and check their elos.
You can be the fantasy football nerd.
Yeah, you can be that guy. I'm actually glancing at chat, and I'm going to stop this here in a minute, but because we have a great, awesome admin for us right now. She'll probably be answering all your questions. Her name's Hey Kelso. She's part of the Raise Your Weapon crew. But, yeah, just looking at one quick thing is this tournament we try to run every 2 weeks. I think the next one's going to be 3 weeks from now. We might be introducing it more. It really depends on how quickly we get the rights, support.
Sponsorships.
But we are using this to kind of be as a ramp, so to speak, because we want to get a lot of these players, if not all of them, are Pacific Northwest related. A lot of these guys come out to local events. We've met them in person. A few of the people actually we've recently met from Reddit and the other communities that are coming over to check out our event. So we're starting to introduce those players to our style, or this new style of playing the game. So keeping that in mind, we really love this format. We're going to put it on display. And so, yes, 3 weeks from now, we'll probably be playing. You'll see the next Judgment.
Yeah, so we're going to try to run it every 2 weeks. Depending on popularity, we might try to run more than one Judgment. It's really on how big and how fast this grows. We're already getting a lot of responses. Again, we have had to have some replacements both times, so I think some of it is that even if we have enough people, do we have enough people back up to fill in spots? But it's a really, really cool format, and it's a format that really it's fun for the players because, again, there's the added benefits we talked about before. Like if you don't have a competitive team, you can play with really good players, and you have a competitive environment planned. But it's also fun if you get to be a captain because, like you said as well, it's like how do you best use each member? How do you draft your team? Do you find that synergy like in Judgment 1 with Sanctified and Dexter, who played bot lane together and are talented? Or do you take your unknowns and you find out, they said they were an AP mid, but I think, maybe they'll work better if I throw them in the jungle and I can have this guy as AP mid. And, that kind of stuff makes the difference. And going into this game, it's going to be really interesting to see, what captain, was able to put their pieces together and really take advantage. And there's a lot. I mean, both of these teams are really heavy CC. And so it should be pretty exciting.
Yeah, I mean, and first we were talking about the players, and that's one great thing about this event is that we know the players. But the game itself, Callan, you and I have been casting a while. We've casted quite a bit of tournaments. We can actually talk about the game and the mechanics and the champions. We will see the Varus this game. So Dexter's a 2K player who has demonstrated success along most of the AD carries. Yeah, he understands the role very well. So it'll be amazing to see him break out the new champion Varus. I actually had a few minutes before we started to jump in and spectate a game. He was like 13-4 on Varus in a blind pick game, but he still lost that game. So who knows? Will he be able to carry hard enough? Also in this game, wow. I'm staring down the champion lineup, and I'm seeing nothing but C.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be, who layers their CC correctly. I mean, there's a lot of potential here for, I was talking about Varus because he is that new champion that we were talking about, and his CC is different than a lot of other characters' CC because, like, Ashe, she throws in her crystal arrow, and it locks down a bunch of people at once, where Varus is more like you throw it in, and then it locks down one member of the enemy team at a time, so it almost creates this really long, drawn-out, like, 4v5, puts you in, like, a 4v5 state for a really long time because it's locking down each member, as it goes gradually. So it's kind of a really different kind of AoE CC.
Yeah, I have not had a whole lot of experience yet playing since he just came out yesterday. From what I've noticed is it doesn't bounce quite quick enough for my taste, and it doesn't feel like you get all the AoE CC that you would expect from it. But I do like the fact that it has that potential to bind more than one member. And really, I mean, let's say you focus down one and you do get that second bind off. That's just more amazing in the sense that we've now converted it's a 5v5 effect. We focus fire down one, and now we're if we can get that constant CC.
Hey guys, I'm hearing stuff about the audio. Is one of us low or one of us high? Let me know really quickly, and we can tweak that for you guys in chat. So just give us the heads up. I am Pato.
And I'm Highwind.
Okay, we'll just tweak them up a little bit, and we'll go from there. Let us know how it goes. And we're going to start out really quick here. It looks like the help is running down to defend their blue buff really quickly. And Dexter and Anttran actually running down towards this bottom brush. Dexter rocking that Varus skin, so actually a big fan of Varus, it looks like. Did he maybe get that from the recent... No, because he didn't win the tournament.
No, I believe Dexter, who did win, won the Hecarim bundle.
Oh, okay.
And so he may have just said, you know what, guys? They also have a lot of extra riot points. So
yeah.
He was like, I'm going to get the plethora of riot points. I'm going to go ahead and just buy Varus and his extra skin, which I actually like the bonus skin. Yeah,
I think it's really cool. I know a lot of players were actually really disappointed because... Oh, yeah, all right. Sound quality good. Awesome. Thank you guys for giving us the heads up. And thank you, Hey Kelso, for letting us fix that really quickly. So now we're going to set up here. But, yeah, I know a lot of players actually saved up the RP to buy the champion skin bundle. And we might have an invade here. But they were really disappointed when there was only one skin. Because if you buy Varus and the skin, then it's the same price as it would have been for the bundle. And you don't get that free skin. So a lot of players, I know, were a little bit disappointed that there's only the one skin. And it looks like Team ImBlackYall is just waiting it out here.
I don't know if we're going to see like a 5-man like counter gank here bot lane. I know the...
ImBlackYall left the game.
So it looks like we're going to see a remake.
Yeah, we might see a remake here. Yeah, we're going to see a remake. All right, I'm going to bounce out. Sorry, guys.
So really sorry about this. The other team says we're not going to stop, and Nihilus is ready to go. And it looks like we're going to just queue over real quick. We can probably remake this as blind pick, so you won't have to wait too much longer. Meanwhile, Highwind, whose mic has been fixed. That's me, by the way. And yes, sometimes I talk in third person. I will answer any questions you may have in chat right now for the next until I am told to shut up. So if you have, no, I don't have a girlfriend. Good
first question. Are you a girl?
But yeah, if you have any questions about Judgment, if you have any questions about casting or Raise Your Weapon, feel free to throw it out there. Or any personal questions. Favorite pro player right now. I do watch a lot of Odd One. I wouldn't say he's my favorite. Good guy Dyrus, he's. I like Dyrus for his adeptness and professionalism. Like recently, he apologized for using the word rape. So I really I like Dyrus in that regard.
All right, we got the game set back up and blind pick. Oh yeah, we're jumping right back in. But yeah, that actually was kind of cool. That I think I know at least from the StarCraft 2 scene, there was a lot of play from players that would be like, oh yeah, you know what? Like I don't care what I said. I said it. It's not a big deal, and they try to defend it. It's kind of cool for actually Dyrus, step up and be like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna man up, and I shouldn't be using this word. And it's so easy to knock it out of your vocabulary. I mean, it's not a hard thing. Just like it's not like essential to say when something's going on.
So scanning chat real quick because I didn't realize questions would be coming firewall. We are going to try to go to Infernal Land, but Infernal Land is the same weekend as MLG Anaheim, so we might be at MLG Anaheim. And because I'm answering questions rapid fire mode, I think prior to this patch, Amumu was more than likely the most underrated champion, and I think post-patch, I want to say in terms of underrated, like you just don't see them a lot, but you should. Oh, it's difficult. Because I am the champion of bad. And if Calvin wants to, if we have 3 minutes, we might talk about how Highwind is the champion of bad.
Well, that was a long time ago.
That's true.
And you've gotten a little bit better over time, just a little bit. But no, seriously. But a lot of that, it wasn't this that you were you were kind of experimenting, and League of Legends was in a very new state. So, playing unorthodox builds, is a good thing in League of Legends sometimes, or unorthodox characters, because people aren't used to playing against them. I happen to there's a lot of stuff that's coming out now. I mean, Kale used to not see a lot of Kale, but they also Riot also has these weird characters like Kale, where they realize she's really powerful, they nerf her completely out of existence, and then they slowly buff her back till people notice again, and then all of a sudden you see Kale in a bunch of games again. We've seen the resurgence of Kale recently a bunch.
Yeah, resurgence of Kale, I don't know if she's extremely underrated. I would definitely say my personal favorite underrated champion is Sejuani.
Yeah, I've seen you playing her.
I would love to bring her back out, but I think she's just, if she gets any sort of buffs, she's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I mean the only slight problem I have with her is like her damage is like a little bit too low. Like she hits the pillow mode a little bit too quickly for junglers, if you will. And so I think otherwise, the utility of her is great. She can do a lot of things to actually facilitate a team that, if your team is really coordinated in a team, a team environment versus solo queue. And solo queue, it's a little bit tricky. If your team's bad, it's hard for her to do much. It's kind of almost like a support character. But Sejuani, with all her slows, she can actually facilitate a lot of ganks. She can, counter-initiate team fights really, really well. Although, as we were talking about, her alt seems like it disappears really quickly.
I don't know what happened. So if you played her probably like a month ago, you're like, holy crap, this alt is the best ult in the entire game. And it's true. If you based on her ult and the ability to use permafrost, you just, holy crap, I just stunned them for 2 seconds or possibly 1 second, and they're slowed for like 60 or 70% for like another 3 seconds. You're just, holy crap, this ult is amazing. It's like when you first played Amumu and you pressed R for that very first time, you're like, oh my god, I just won the game. Like it felt that good. However, something feels weird. Like I played it recently, I'm like, man, the ult didn't last as long as
I was spectating you, and I was like, that disappeared really quickly. And I mean, unless you hit Mundo or something with Mercury Treads, I'm pretty sure that should last a little bit longer. And
Yeah, and the way I look at junglers nowadays, you know, there are tiers of junglers, so to speak, but it's more the terms of what they want to do. And I'm a jungler, by the way, so shout out to any junglers out there. I think we get blamed for everything in solo queue, and we're okay with that. So bring it on, come at us, bro, because I didn't gank your lane because, maybe your lane
You did deserve a gank.
So, but yeah, I mean, I look at junglers right now. If I don't have to deal with a counter jungler right now, so I think Udyr is like the safest overall best jungler you can kind of have in terms of speed, gank ability, late game. But he's kind of boring after a while.
Yep.
But he still has that counter jungling aspect, so you got to be careful with when playing against Udyr. Mundo is probably god tier still. He's very popular right now. He's got that gank ability and counter jungling. Shyvana is still, great for counter jungling, and her ganking is, whatever. That's level 6. It's decent, but if you're not going against that meta, it really changes up things. Nocturne is still really strong. I really like tanky junglers between the Mumus, the Sejuanis, the Alistars.
Yeah, I think
Nautilus is clearly my favorite.
Yeah.
Like my current flavor of the month right now. If you see me playing solo queue, I'm probably going to be playing Nautilus, whether it's top or in the jungle.
Yeah, to me, I mean, it's definitely, I think jungles have definitely folded more, because before it was, with the old jungle, before they patched it and we got the new jungle that made it a little bit easier, the jungle was basically like, most of them were like, can you even jungle? How easy is it to jungle? Like, how little do you have to rune for it? Like, like characters like Warwick that we saw all the time in the jungle. And now that the jungle's been opened up more, it's more been like, what role does the jungler fill? I mean, do you need that AoE team comp? So are you rocking a Mumu? Are you rocking Nautilus? Do you want to have a counter jungling game and forgo a little bit of gank ability? You want to go, the Shyvana and the Mundo, who Mundo can have great ganks with exhaust. Don't get me wrong, but their goal is to jungle really quickly, go counter jungle, work that into that's why you take them. You might take like Nocturne or Skarner, for example, and at that point you're trying to dive in and pull out 80 carries or dive their carry, do stuff like that. So I mean, I definitely think that it's definitely jungle is more themed than it used to be. Before, back in the days, we're just like, can I jungle with this character? And is it not terrible?
Yeah, I really like I know when the jungle changes first hit, people were like, oh my god, why did you change this? And I think looking back, it's 4, 5, 6 months ago, I think right now jungle's in a great spot.
Yeah, I think all junglers should thank Riot. Like, really, seriously thank Riot, because this change actually has opened up a lot of new paths for them and a lot of new champion possibilities, so I'm actually really excited about it.
Ginsu or Morello played a major part in that, and shout-outs to Ginsu, who was a part of this inspiration of the process. So Judgment, for those that are tuning in or just tuned in or don't know what Judgment is, 40 players, we take 8 captains. The 8 captains draft from the other 32 remaining players. That's the simple way to put it. It's kickball on the schoolyard. Back in the day, back in beta, we played something called Friday Night Scrims. So before anybody knew anybody, you went to this forums called All or Nothing, and you may or may not have heard of them. They go by Team Solo Mid nowadays.
Yeah, no one really some random name.
But back in the day, there was a team called there was a team forums called All or Nothing, and as long as we don't see any action here, I'm going to keep talking. But I think we're going to see some action. So, Callan, if you would so.
Yeah, we actually see a little bit of an invade coming in here for Team ImBlackYall, and they're actually going to be caught out by that really quick ward, although they did see it. They actually did put a hit on the ward, so that ward still is there. Would have been awesome if everybody shift right-clicked and did the move auto attack and hit it right away. But she did place it right before they did go in there, and they're just going to back off and do the blue buff. And it looks like both teams are just going to do the blue buff. So you know what? Take it away, Highwind.
Yeah,
all or nothing.
Just a little bit more. Back in the day, we did something called Friday Night Scrims. 40 people, you signed up on their forums, said, hey, I got nothing to do on Friday. I played video games. I love this new game in beta called League of Legends. It's amazing. It's like Dota, but probably going to be better. Just kidding. I like Dota, too, as well. And with that being said, it was cool because, when Cal and I first signed up, no one knew who we were. And we got randomly picked to play on these different teams, and we thought it was a really cool experience. So based on that experience, we want to come back and say, and by the way, he's saving Smite, and I'm going to talk about that here in a second. But we thought we'd bring that format back. So this Judgment is a reboot of Friday Night Scrims, and we want to make this popular. We want to make it mainstream. We want to make this a format that's, you know, you go into a cyber cafe or you go to an online BYOC or to a BYOC event, and you're like, hey, I don't have to wait around for I don't have to bring an entire team. I can play in this format, and it balances itself. So yeah that's Judgment.
Well, you're going to talk about he saves Smite, and that's something we've seen a lot more from junglers recently, and I like, you know, sometimes it's because you actually want to be risky and go counter invade, although a lot of teams are actually wording that out now. But another option is just, you know, if you get a good enough pull, you can actually clear blue and just run over and take red quicker, and so it allows you, you know, to have really, really good ganks. With that, you can be a little bit quicker in the jungle, get that red safely, and you can also have it so if someone comes and tries to counter invade you, you still have a chance to save it and steal it for yourself.
Well, the thing about saving Smite is, if done correctly, you can actually be level 3 and double buffed at 3 minutes. The help is actually running a little bit slow. He stopped off for the race. But yes, if you save Smite, you can start Wolves, go blue, run over to red, have Smite up. When you kill the mini golems, you actually hit level up, and then you'll hit level 3, and then use your Smite, and then you can actually gank top really strong because you're level 3 before they're level 3.
And actually, we have a little bit of pressure coming on here. Youngjun and that heavy harassment actually from Alistar, the zoning action from Alistar, combined with Varus. And Varus, you know, he's one of those characters that actually deal a ridiculous amount of damage early if he stacks those Blight correctly and procs them. So you have to be. That's a very scary lane actually down low. And Janna's actually going to have to do a lot of good work to try to protect her AD carry and herself.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're seeing a lot of aggression from the blue team, and this is great because it's allowing Skarner to farm. Because these lanes are pushed
gank
up.
incoming in here, but she's going to be Black Shield and get out of this nice and easy. Good job. And Skarner actually countering underneath the turn. The help will fall, and that is first blood. Wow, a little bit unexpected. And wow, Anttran almost dying. Get a little bit excited there coming out. But, yeah, you know, they went in there, dove in there, but Morgana, I was able to Black Shield before any other CC came in and stayed pretty relatively safe there. And as you saw, I believe it's the stagger ability for Nautilus actually doesn't proc, you know, while you have Black Shield up. So she was able to walk away and not suffer the auto attack and get stunned before she was under a turret.
Yeah, great snare under turret. The worst feeling in the world is losing double buff. Not going to lie. Especially, at least he lost it to the enemy jungler. If I'm as a jungler and I lose double buff to the enemy in a lane, I can just feel the rage building on my teammate because he's like, "Oh my God, Highwind, did you really just give this guy a kill and double buff? Because you just screwed me in lane." And, you know, it's a pretty crappy feeling. Not gonna lie.
And actually, we didn't get to talk about this before, but lo and behold, ImBlackYall gets to go against his buddy up top.
Yeah,
I like Tricycles. So, you know, we're actually going to have it really go down here, and Dexter charging up that shot. You know, I have to imagine, SwiftOne putting a little bit damage back there. So I believe the TheSwiftOne and Youngjun actually played before. They're both from the University of Washington Purple Castmares. Gank coming in, but I don't think they're actually going to be able to convert this on BlackYall. And I like Tricycles. He's just, you know, last hitting under turret, but he's not going to actually come out there and get in on the fight. But I think the TheSwiftOne and Youngjun have played before. This is pretty good, and the TheSwiftOne actually is a pretty good AD player. I think the only downside, you know, if his Achilles heel, if you will, is that sometimes he likes to do a little bit too much on his own without, because he's, you know, he's a solo top player. So sometimes he forgets that, you know, he needs his support there, and so he'll be, you know, overextend a little bit, or, you know, just basically, you know, lose sight of the fact that he's 2v1 and get picked off.
Yeah, no. And that's something you experience if you don't ever play bot lane. Like, for example, I'm sometimes in solo queue, I have to play bot lane, and luckily for me, it's support. Nice flash.
Great stun, pulverized headbutt, and the exhaust comes in, and will she just barely get out? No, she will not. Takes a little bit too much damage, and Anttran has actually rotated down the TheSwiftOne. Whiffs the TheSwiftOne on the Dark Binding, but he will ult. That Soul Shackle will get the kill. Just has to survive that turret aggro. Team heal coming in, protecting him. Great work right there, and Anttran, you know, when you throw those Dark Bindings, you miss them, and it's like, I expected you to move. Why didn't you move? You made me look so silly on the stream. But you know what? They got the kill. It's all good, and they actually pick up a double kill bottom, so that's actually really, really good for Team ImBlackYall.
Yeah, they're actually taking quite a bit of gold advantage right now. They're up just over 2K. they could set themselves up for an early dragon because they're going to be stronger here once. Because what will probably happen is Morgana's going to come back to lane. She's going to get blue buff. Skarner's already 6, so he doesn't need blue buff, and they can actually set up a strong gank in any lane. That's the best. That's the best part of having Skarner as a jungler. He's got that perma slow, and his ult allows for either forcing flashes or just grabbing them if they're overextended and bringing them under turret. And we're going to see so many exchanges go down.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of lanes are actually trading right now. It's kind of interesting to see. Oh, wow, we actually might have it finally go. ImBlackYall is actually going to pop his ult, flashes after I like Tricycles, and will pick up the kill against his friend. Probably some trash talk going on, I'm sure, between those two.
I want to be in the Skype call like after this where it says, Jarny, what happened there, buddy? Yeah. And she's like, screw you, Marnell.
Yeah.
And that's the best part about it. You could go up against friends. We have actually 2 sets of twins.
Yes, 2 sets of twins. Dexter being one of the twins.
Yep, so Dexter is actually one of his twins. His brother is Format. He's playing in another game right now. They might see each other or face each other. The other set of twins are on the same team this time.
Yes,
in the last Judgment.
Yeah,
we had some drama.
Yeah. So Tatsulo actually picked his friend E5. And actually, we're going to have a little bit of action here. SwiftOne getting focused a little bit, actually trading with Dexter a little bit, but the ult is going to come in. It does not jump in time, and Youngjun trying to run out of this, taking heavy, heavy damage. Janna not able to survive too long and has those double blights. Actually needs to be careful. Don't want to get picked off by an arrow at any time right now. And Fat, doing a good job trying to put in a lot of harassment here as Rise. It's interesting to see the new Rise actually flashes in and gets the kill. And Fat actually replacing, originally it was supposed to be Boss Cow. Boss Cow had a family emergency. And then, we went out and we were like, all right, we need to find a comparable player. So we found VVV Skilly. And lo and behold, Skilly doesn't show up. He probably died in a plane crash. Don't quote me on that. He's fine. He's fine. Skilly's mom, I'm sure you're watching the stream.
And
he's fine. He's okay.
He's going to come in.
He really wants to get this. But so then, what we found is we found Fat. We had to find a 2K mid AP player. And Fat is a really good player. And actually, we saw in the bans. We didn't get a chance to talk about it because we're talking a lot about the players, which is really important too. But Fat actually is an amazing Rumble player, which I actually admire because I love Rumble. He's one of my favorite AP characters, especially for top. That's usually where you can see Fat too. But he actually is going Rise in this case. But the other team knew it. ImBlackYall knew it. He's like, I know Fat. I'm banning Rumble. There's no way I'm letting this guy try to roll that in here. Because we don't want to get ulted and have everybody on our team die when we try to go get Dragon.
Yeah, and again, another advantage of Judgment is a lot of these players are going to be, we're going to see these players a lot. And a lot of these players play with each other casually or, at other local events. So what it does is it allows them to build rapport with each other and know their strengths and know their weaknesses, which is going to, in turn, make players become better because they're going to know that in some cases they might get banned out or they know they're known for 1 or 2 champions. So it's going to require them to probably be in a role they may or may not expect it to be in because they now need it's basically solo queue. Oh,
and
wow.
It looks like HOoZy might have been baited out here. We have a triple gank coming in. Skarner, XTY coming in to try to help this out, but they're just doing way too much damage. They actually can't commit to try to kill anyone, and that is unfortunate. And meanwhile, we have a fight in mid. Fat, trying to trade with Anttran, but will he go down that Ignite? Will pick it up, and Anttran, he died under his turret last time, and you know what? He said, I'm going to come back. I'm going to get this guy. Knowing Anttran's mentality, he wants to get those kills. He's not going to be outdone ever, and so there he is coming back, taking Fat down and exchange in mid. And meanwhile, ImBlackYall is just absolutely taking top turret. Might kill Electrical under turret, and he will do it with ease. And right now, the helpful hands aren't looking too strong, and they get another invade in the jungle. The help will be pulled out, and there's another kill. And I have to say, ImBlackYall's team is coming to play, and they're on the warpath here.
Yeah, when I looked at their teams overall, I was like, this team might come off as underrated. I know I got a chance to practice for more than one game because the first game they needed a jungler because XTY wasn't online. So they said, hey, Iwin, we want to practice. Can you come play jungle for me? And then HOoZy wasn't online. Hey, can you play support for us? So I actually got a chance to practice with these guys, and I wasn't quite overwhelmed, I guess, because we lost the first game, and I was like, man, I've made so many saves on Anttran who was playing Anivia, and I'm like, what is this guy doing? How are you guys going to win? And then in the support game, we actually went for a really like a double support bot lane with raid boss Soraka.
Yeah.
Who, if y'all get a chance, I highly recommend playing Soraka with another support and just letting her go raid boss in bot lane. It's a lot of fun, and you feel like a total boss.
So ImBlackYall actually sees the help, and the brush is kind of taunting him right now. Faye thinks he's actually going to take the blue wraith, and the help says, "No, I don't want to do that," but it's too late, buddy. It's too late. Getting counter jungled, and there's a lot of pressure actually coming from Team ImBlackYall, and I'd like to see that. You know, even if you don't go in there and actually take anything, but if you just show the presence, it kind of wears on the enemy team just mentally that, you know, your jungle's constantly being invaded, you're constantly being pressured, you feel really, really uncomfortable as a team. And bot, you know, especially with bot tower falling already, now they're thinking about top lanes, like how they're going to start to plug that leak, if you will. It might be a good idea for them to try to rotate down, maybe start thinking about dragon at this point, or trying to do something to catch back up and displace that gold deficit that they've been suffering right now.
Well, they're not gonna try and key in on any advantage at this point. The problem is when you're losing kind of every lane. As a jungler, you're like, well, I can't really gank one lane or the other because we're losing in every lane, and it's almost disadvantageous. I don't even know if that's a word. It's not advantageous. Actually, detrimental would have been the correct word, but it would be detrimental to try and gank another lane because if their other jungler shows up, you're definitely going to be behind in that fight. You won't be as strong. So what you'll want to try to do is get map control. That's a good start. And early oracles would be really good because once you have map control, you can actually bait them out of position. Whether you can overcome, you can say, oh, well, you know, we know we're going to give up dragon, but maybe we could trade dragon for an early baron, which unlikely right now. But or we can commit to a tri-gank or a quad gank just by having that map control. So in early oracles, I highly recommend. And right now, HOoZy with an oracle.
Yeah, and you know the thing though is like it's hard sometimes to go oracles though when you're behind because you have less gold than your opponents. HOoZy actually getting focused on, but TheSwiftOne very, very low. Actually can't stay in too long in this fight. Maybe going to throw off an ace in the hole, and that is what he's going to do. And they have HOoZy really, really low here. Great Howling Gale actually picking this up, and Fat picking up a kill here, and Dexter in full retreat. So you know that's a great pickoff they have right there. It looks like the help is actually trying to defend mid by himself against Morgana's push, and he's doing a pretty good job. Actually, you know, I have to say Nautilus, you know, for defending turrets, he's so tanky. And he can actually, you know, clear it like decently well with his AOE and stuff like that. So,
and this is
I
what
do like that spot. Youngjoon in a lot of trouble. Great, actually, Monsoon right there to protect himself. And XTY actually getting chased down here. And actually, where's the kill top? And XTY will go down. Will Fat go down as well? Yes, he will. And they keep feeding Dexter. Meanwhile, a fight up in the jungle. The help will fall to Anttran. And wow, action going all over the battlefield. But at the end of the day, you know, Dexter, you know, Varus is looking really, really strong here at 123 CS and 2 kills. And Anttran as well now has picked up his 4th kill. And it's looking pretty way ahead of Fat actually in CS as well.
Yeah, Morgana actually rushing, looks like Hourglass. Just making the opportunity to dive kills that much more a possibility. And it's funny because originally when I was looking at the team comps, I was like, wow, you know, the purple team's got a lot of bubbles, you know, in terms of you have Janna's shield, you've got Udyr's turtle stance, which is, it's a damage shield, it's a bubble, and you've got Nautilus I can't remember the name of it, but his W is a damage shield. I was like, oh, that's a lot of bubbles. And you're like, ooh, Black Shield and Kale's immunity. So, and Skarner's got a shield as well. So this whole team is about bubbles, and I don't know why. It makes me laugh.
Yeah, damage mitigation in team fights.
It has absolutely nothing to do with the analysis of this game. And if we wanted to get real serious, we could talk about the beating that the blue team is putting on the red team. But instead, I'm going to joke about bubbles. Sorry.
Okay, so
back to the game.
So Varus actually, one knock on him that some people were kind of saying is that maybe, you know, late game he doesn't carry as well. But I think any carry getting fed will be really, really strong come late game. I think maybe the downside to him might be that he doesn't have a built-in like attack speed steroid. So you know he definitely going to want to probably build that up soon after he finishes his main item. It looks like Dexter has his BF sword, is way ahead of Caitlyn at this point. Just checking the gold they're rocking. Caitlyn's banking 16, so Caitlyn almost has her BF sword, but Varus has 2K in his bank account. So he's just waiting to finish his IE and call it a day, basically.
Yeah, and we do know this game is snowballing pretty hard, so I'm going to go ahead and ping Dexter in game right now and let him know that I need him to start throwing. As if, just like that BW3
It might be too late. They only have 3 more minutes, Joe.
It's just like that BW3 commercial. We got this, y'all. So stay tuned. We're going to see some throws here in a minute.
What's actually kind of interesting about this game so far that I'd kind of like to point out is that no one's really been taking Dragon all that much. It's been mainly just lane battles and just dominance and, ganking and killing. And there we have the flash in, pulverized headbutt combo onto SwiftOne. YoungJun getting the focus first. He's going to Monsoon to try to just delay as long as possible. And XTY is actually going to grab in the SwiftOne, and they will pick that up. And there's another double kill for Dexter. So Dexter, MVP of Judgment. Yeah, showing us why he's MVP. And now there's a lot of pressure on the ImBlackYall. They want to punish this captain. He's going to ult himself and try to run away. Great edge line by the help. They're actually picking that up. And can they actually just get down one more stun to finish this off? ImBlackYall running away. Going to get that move speed buff in a second if he can. But Anttran actually coming up to help here. Will land his Dark Binding. Not going to miss that one. Soul Shout coming in, slow following this up. Getting the extra bonus damage actually from that is ImBlackYall, and they will pick up this kill. And now the help by himself can do enough damage to actually deal with ImBlackYall, and they will actually back off out of this.
Man, I thought for sure Kale was going to go down there, and then I realized that Morgana was actually making plays and coming up and coming to the aid of a team. If it were me, I know Marlon, I'd have been like, just let him die. But I guess if he's your captain, and
yeah, you gotta do what the captain says. He was probably an ultra. He's like, save me right now, Anttran. And Anttran's like, I'm gonna make a move. Don't worry, bro. I got this. And Infinity Edge online with a Zeal. That's pretty fancy. It's pretty fancy going against the Swift right now, who's just rocking his BF sword. So SwiftOne, not having as great of a day in bot lane as Dexter is, and we will, it looks like Fat might have this counter jungle, but they placed that ward on the other side, so they actually can't see the life of Blue Golem, so he's going to take that pretty safely. And you see, actually, he runs up and above the wolves to be a little bit safer, but will he get caught up by Dark Bind? Looks like he is going to miss it up there. I can see him on the minimap rotating by. Dexter just farming bottom meanwhile.
Yeah, those crits hitting caster minions for 530 means they're probably going to be critting normal players for like 400 and something.
Yeah.
That's a lot of damage.
That's
especially
a lot
with
of
those
damage.
attack speed steroids that he gets from just killing a minion. I think it's 20%. And then
Yeah, and here we go. They really want to kill ImBlackYall. They want to get him again. He's going to pop his ult, and ImBlackYall says, I just want to kill. I like Tricycles. I want to take my buddy down. He's actually going to get Black Shield, and will he be able to escape out? No, he won't. He finally will go down. The terror of top lane, just sitting up there killing all the turrets, making everybody cry, and finally the Fat goes up there and stomps him out.
So here's the backstory on this, and it's completely fictional. ImBlackYall is my duo queue partner, except that
the SwiftOne under a lot of harass again, and this yanks from behind. Nowhere is safe, really, and I think they need to ward out a little bit more at their blue buff. You can see him pinging it right now, I'm sure. Like, hey guys, yeah, there's the ward. Doesn't go down by YoungJun. We have a 4-man push on the bottom, but back to your fictional story.
Yeah, the fictional story is that ImBlackYall is my duo queue partner, and I told him if he doesn't start throwing, I'm not gonna carry him anymore, and he knows this. So we should see a couple more deaths.
Yeah, quite possibly. But I like the way this this team is shaping up for ImBlackYall. I like how they've come together. HOoZy actually looks like a very, very good support player, as Alistar's actually been pretty on point. Anttran taking a little bit of harass here. They don't quite have enough damage for this. HOoZy actually going to have to pop his ult to try to get out of this, but he's still taking turret aggro. They will take down the turret, follow this up. Great Monsoon to try to get him out of range of Soul Shackle. They will kill Anttran in the process, chasing down the remaining members. HOoZy actually very, very low. SwiftOne will pick up that kill. Actually, double kill for Fat in the meantime. YoungJun flashing out, trying to get out of this. Fat will fall, but Dexter is fed in that double kill.
Holy crap.
And he's double bumped up, and that's going to be a turret and possibly an inhib.
And maybe a surrender.
Yeah, and ImBlackYall, the captain, actually pushing mid at the same time. I like Tricycles trying to get a dignity turret here because they actually do not have a turret down yet for the helpful hands.
So before we were talking about how Varus ult doesn't really hit them, and he hit every single one. So I'm gonna eat my words right now.
Yeah, Varus ult. I mean, it's a legit ult, and I actually think it's going to be really interesting to see how players start to deal with it and realize its power as Varus gets played more.
Actually, I guarantee we won't see a surrender vote. The help is probably not going to surrender under any circumstance.
Basically, you know, the help. There's no way the help is going to surrender this, and he kills ImBlackYall, and that is exactly what he wanted to do. He's like, I mean, at this point, even if he thinks his team's going to lose, they're going to be like, you know what we're going to do? We're just going to kill ImBlackYall as many times as possible before the end of this game. Come hell or high water, we're making it happen.
And I don't know if that's a rage quit. I don't think so.
Yeah, you know, the TheSwiftOne actually isn't one to rage quit. He's one to rage a little bit sometimes. You know, sometimes he does let the Hulk out.
Oh, really?
You know, he kind of keeps it maintained. He keeps it really, you know, maintained, but, you know, it's slowly you can see it build.
He seems like an upstanding guy.
No,
I
he
like
is.
him.
You know, the TheSwiftOne actually, you know, if you get a chance to talk to him, you know, he typically doesn't actually play bot lane, but if you ever get a chance to talk to him about top lane, if you're interested in top lane, go track down the TheSwiftOne, ask him everything about the top lane. He'll actually be able to give you, you know, an accurate and a really good answer, actually. He is an absolute stud at the top lane, and it's a little bit sad that, you know, we couldn't see him, you know, play that role, but he is a pretty decent AD carry. But, you know, going against Dexter and I'm going to say HOoZy, maybe it's HOoZy, but HOoZy, you know, who's actually been playing a great Alistar. I mean, that's a tough lane to go against for anyone.
And Morgana's going to walk right on top of the help.
Now they want to get them some Anttran, but again, they don't really have damage here, so they have to be really, really careful. Soulshot goes down, and in comes the Pulverize onto the help, and ImBlackYall has turned around the plan. He's like, we're going to kill the help as many times as possible. And then he laughs to himself. He's like, I've already been doing that a lot. And the Fat's actually going to be picked out here by the Dark Binding by Anttran, chasing the rest of the team in here. HOoZy leading the way, and he's going to get exhausted, but it looks like he's not even slowed there. Has Black Shield on and everything, protect the Alistar carry, apparently. And I'm really liking this ImBlackYall team, especially going deeper into this tournament. And it looks like, you know, they're closing out this last turret, and they're going to have a triple inhib that's really hard to come back from. I'd like to think that any team has a chance, but at this point, the help, you know, kind of on the ropes. I think at this point, their best bet would be to either just try to kill Dexter at least once, which looks like it's not happening as they're being torn apart here, or they should try to kill ImBlackYall at least one more time before they get surrendered. It looks like HOoZy trying to run here. Dexter eating the ace in the hole of the face, but he does not care. They will kill ImBlackYall. So mission accomplished. The helpful hands have destroyed and taken down ImBlackYall. Great work right there as their Nexus is falling, and that will be the game. Game one of this round one between ImBlackYall, and the help is going to go to ImBlackYall.
Victory.
Sorry, I have this confused look. Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm looking at my co-caster and going, what did you just say? Because I was confused by all the words that just came out of your mouth.
So